Hi there, and welcome to Why the Device Matters. My name is Megan Towns. I work for Microsoft on the education team, delivering workshops to teachers all the time. And today I've also brought a couple of colleagues with me. So I'd like to introduce you to my colleague Russell.
Hi, I'm Russell. I work in the education team and I help our customers with digital transformation around devices.
And Emily.
I'm Emily Waite. I work in the Microsoft Surface for Education team, specifically in education, supporting our schools through teaching, learning, and IT skilling.
Excellent. So, with Surface, we can take our schools on a digital transformation journey. And so, Russ, from a design perspective, why do you think the Surface stands out?
So I've been in the hardware game about 2 decades selling into education, and it's very easy for people to see the device as just a commodity that is kind of a little bit unimportant. But since I joined the Surface team and I see the whole ethos and the design effort that goes into kind of the human and device interaction piece, it really has changed my mind as to how important the device is. Surface was originally conceptualized to give people new interfaces and new ways to capture information. And particularly now with schools and students requiring the ability to communicate more effectively and completely using more than just text, they're using video, multimedia, mixed reality, ink, whatever it happens to be.
Touch.
Yeah, touch, yeah. So every single type of interface they need was built into the Surface device, specifically for that reason, because that dynamic kind of input capability. So from an interface perspective, they really started this whole two-in-one category and kind of created that category. What we're also doing now is, from a technical standpoint, is we're trying to help IT departments and computer coordinators and whoever it may be that needs to look after these devices. We're giving them modern ways of doing things. So we have modern management, modern deployment, all part of that digital transformation under that umbrella. And what that means is the kind of rigor and the effort that people used to have to put into doing things like creating images and running around and updating BIOSes and updating drivers and all this kind of manual stuff is all now completely transparent. It can be completely transparent. And there are some customers who are on that journey, some customers who have already achieved it now, and we're helping as many people as possible get to a point where all of that IT stuff that used to be a real burden is no longer a burden. And on top of that, we're giving IT the ability to have really tight, granular control of devices, whether they're on or off campus. Now, no longer, you don't have to have access to the device to control it. You can do it from pretty much anywhere and have a really good degree of control. So it's really about pushing the hardware industry forward from an interface perspective and from a technology perspective. Now, given that these have been in the schools for a little while, you've seen Surface out there in the wild a fair bit. How have you seen that kind of manifest itself in the classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got my first Surface in my hands as a teacher about 6 or 7 years ago, and it definitely turned me into the Microsoft fangirl I am today. I loved the ability just to so easily move from my office to my classroom, just quickly, pack it up, make it nice and flat, walk along, and then put it out on my desk, get teaching, connect it to the board, and then if I needed to, still be able to walk around wirelessly with that device in my hand. And that alone, sort of got me excited about disconnecting myself from the front of the room. But then when we talk about, the sort of software capabilities as well, the digital pen is, what I love so much about Surface, and particularly that Surface pen. The ability to write so naturally, whether that be for me giving feedback to a student with some, digital marking, whether that be annotating and actually demonstrating something to students as well. As a former English and primary teacher, I was always annotating and circling the work that they could see at the front of the room. But then also the student experience as well. I've got a few children, and I've got an animator, I've got a scientist, I've got a mathematician, and they can do what they need to do without any limitations. Like you said, the design of a Surface means that no matter what interests or skills a student has, they can use that device to, with their best learning intentions at heart. So, it's really exciting.
And I think that's what I love about my job every day, is seeing students actually being able to create and innovate and ideate without limitations. And I think that comes from the device. And I think at Microsoft, with having an end-to-end solution that includes the hardware, the software, the operating system, we're really able to create experiences that are transformative and prepare our students for an unknown future. You know, scientists of today, the job of a scientist or a doctor is going to look really different for the kids that are graduating in 2030. And I think by giving them the confidence and the skills to work with the same kind of technology that they're seeing in science labs, in government, in enterprise, it gives them the skills that they're ready for employment when they graduate and gives them an advantage over other students. I think it's exciting.
So how do we at Microsoft support schools on their Surface journey?
I mean, we have a range of different programs, both for teachers, students, and now we're even incorporating programs for parents, because we understand that this is a difficult journey to navigate, and there are various levels of comfort with technology within any school. And with any school community even. There are some parents that are really tech savvy and there are others that really shy away from it. And we want to make sure that everyone has the support that they need. So we work with parents on cyber safety programs, we work with students on study skilling, we work with teachers on, as you well know, on how to transform the classroom into 21st century learning experiences. And we work with principals and ITs to give them the skills to utilise the modern management tools that Russell talked about, and school leaders to really figure out how they can transform their school and prepare them for the future. So I think that's just worth its weight in gold when you think about the investment that parents are placing in their students' education and schools are placing in this kind of technology that they're rolling out, because that inking experience has a run-on effect in terms of creating more paperless environments, reducing the amount of printing, reducing the frustration that our principals and teachers experience when they're standing at the printer, which we know is a real pain point for a lot of our schools. And what I'd love to talk about is, like, what I find with the Surface Pen experience is that it's not just having the ability to digital ink, but it's having the ability to digital ink in a way that feels natural. And I think when you said that before, like, you know, I've used other devices that have inking and it feels like a crayon. And if someone gave me a crayon and told me to write an essay, I'd probably get 2 sentences through before I threw it to the ground and started typing. And I think that's that natural experience really is what makes people want to use these tools. And then the barriers go away. They're able to do anything.
Yeah, and it's not just about the teacher experience either. With students, you know, particularly in the younger years, they still have the importance of handwriting. That's part of their learning process. But then they can also start to use some of the 3D modelling tools like Paint 3D, where they can actually draw their models, create them, and then use the backwards facing camera to put that model into the real world in front of them.
Totally.
You know, like Russ said, it's there's the no compromise experience where it doesn't matter what technology or software exists now or in the future, the Surface is going to be there to run that software and grow as our technology grows.
And I think it's in some of your examples that you're going to show the guys later, you talk about all the different subjects that require inking and that you can use inking for, because I think a lot of people think about the digital ink and about sketching, you know, I'm not creative, I couldn't use inking. But, you know, I have children of my own. They do Mandarin, they do algebra, and they ideate and collaborate. And a lot of that involves inking to not limit your thinking. And I think that's where I love the Surface device, because the device disappears. It goes away. You simply can do whatever you need to do, and you've got all the tools in the one device to be able to do that. Whether it's record something, create audio, draw, or type, you can do it all in the one device. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can
Fangirl.
fangirl also. But yeah, everything I ever need to do is always possible on a Surface.